What is up, everyone? It's Yuga, voice of the dragons. I wanted to do a quick little video today about crystal healing. Mostly about my personal experience with a little bit of practical uses and tips that I found out to be very useful. Um, in truth, crystal healing is honestly what really started my whole awakening experience. I had been told that amethyst had some healing properties, and I was at a very depressed, very low state in my life, and I just thought I'd try it out just as an outlet, see what it could have for me and see what would happen. And a lot of my spiritual growth ended up becoming directly derived from crystal healing and understanding how to use crystals on a practical use. I've done a lot of studying with the metaphysics, the mineralogy, and some of the very basic fundamentals of crystallography. But as I studied these things more in depth, my understanding of myself and of the world around me started to drastically become a lot clearer. Fundamentally speaking, all matter is defined by its crystalline structure. Doing the little bit of research that I have done with crystallography, it's a very intense, very profound form of scientific research. I'm barely scratching the surface with it, but to see an underlying consistent pattern happening on a molecular level and seeing how the macro cosmic scale of the universe intertwines with everything else, it's really, really eye-opening. What really, really helped me the most was getting crystals and then putting them on each of my chakra points and laying down and doing full chakra crystal meditation and doing that consistently with DNA activation and spiritual alchemy. A lot of the messages I have been given have been very, very precise and very to the point, not so mystical. One time I was meditating with a a Himalaya gold and a zestolite. I had it right on my heart chakra, and I kid you not, I actually heard the voice of the stone speak and say to me, I can look, I can see, I can hear. I become what's around that is clear. And it was very clear to me that I was more aware of myself in that moment, understanding how the nature of the crystal becoming into existence and being its own being on itself, how that instantly related and tied to my own existence. Seeing that everything around me consistently interacts with my own consciousness as well as my unconscious activity. That everything is manifested and predetermined to varying degrees of how much does influence my psyche. The most profound experiences I've had with crystal healing would definitely be developing psychic attunement and psychic abilities. From my personal understanding of how these energies work, I wouldn't consider myself a psychic. For instance, the other day I was doing a voice chat with a friend in one of my groups, Paradigm Shift Shuffle, check it out. And as soon as we started talking, I had that instant connection, that idea. Hey, you don't have anything obscenely purple in front of you, do you? He ended up having a giant piece of amethyst that he had just dug out of the ground after it was being charged by Mother Earth for a few weeks, and I already knew. And just stuff like that, having that deep, profound knowing without having any information prior, that tended to be a very consistent thing once I started really getting into crystal healing. Doing radionics, doing my own jewelry, and performing some of the healing works that I have done, I have understood how crystals are the conduit, the perfect conduit, to retain and restore and transfer all forms of energy. Understanding more on the mineralogy side of how these crystals work, it's like the earth had something in mind, and it knew as things were going about in forms of creation where to let things go and where to let things happen by themselves. Being here in Arizona, we actually have the highest mineral deposit in the entire globe. I think that's part of the reason why we have the gem shows down here, but being up in Sedona, having my vision quest, living back down in Gold Canyon, and being close to Superstition Mountain, just got a raindrop in my third eye, no joke. Mother Earth knows. She knows so much. And when you listen to her, when you take the time to really understand the true most fundamental aspects of your existence, i.e. crystals. I can only speak from my own experience, but the people that I have inspired and influenced, it's life-changing. It really is life-changing. The more open you are to it, the more that you let things happen. That's the key thing. You have to let them happen. You got to be ready for it too. Having no judgment and no expectation ultimately is how many of these events happened in my life. And having that ability to just instantly connect with people, hey, I really like that stone. Is it this and is it from there? And having it open up doors just because I knew what a certain stone was. More recently, in the last few years of my study and research, many people, not just ones that were familiar with me, but many people, even ones I hadn't come across before, had said to me specifically that I knew a lot more than most people averagely did. And it's a little frustrating because I've been at this for 5 years. I've been very motivated, dedicated, and invested quite a bit, financially speaking, into these crystal energies. But having confirmation, knowing that there's a real force behind it, it's definitely worth checking out. I'll go ahead and cut it off there. This was more of just about my personal experience with crystal healing and what it's done for me and what it hopefully can do for you. If I get more interest, hopefully within my group, I'll definitely make more pointed videos with how to specifically use crystal healing. I'll just briefly mention some other things that I have done just so we have a more wrapped up idea. So with crystal healing, when I perform these works of healing on others, having worked with specific stones for so long, I intuitively know which stones would be best for which person based off of not just this whisper in the wind, but off of how the crystal actually grew and what I've been able to receive from that specific crystal. And then using those crystals as tools of healing for other people in my practice, using the actual minerals that are inside the crystal, or even using its shape or a specific point in its fundamental growth structure. And also using them to clear out space and create energy portals and pockets of actual energy sources. Being able to tap into electrical grids and deflect actual radiation from a lot of external sources, whether it be from a person or from a piece of technology. A lot of these things do have actual fundamental properties. Crystals ultimately will be the guiding effort of the future. It is my hope and goal and dream to bring back the power of Atlantis to the world, having met the 5th Mayan skull for myself and having crystals from the person that owns the 3rd skull. I definitely feel it is a called upon duty. And having direct lineage connected to the 5th Mayan skull, at least that being confirmed. Pretty sure the other ones have been confirmed. Just for instance, I'll touch upon that really quickly. Within my first year and a half of researching and working with crystal skulls, the 5th Mayan skull, the most recent one, the Mitchell Hedges skull, had manifested itself pretty much to my door. I was living next to this psychic bookstore and it happened to be doing a tour. I wasn't supposed to be there by all means, and I ended up being able to be the last person allowed in the class, having the Chandler and people in the group confirm that I did have direct lineage connected to the Mayan crystal skulls. It is something I always felt, having an actual piece, an artifact of history that most people have no idea what exactly is, and even the people that have the skull truly don't know where it came from or how it was truly made, other than they needed zero gravity technology to cut against the grain and have that anatomically precise, crystal clear, not to be ironic, crystal clear foundation put into the skull. These things are very real. But I'll go ahead and cut off there. I know I'm dragging it on a little bit longer than I should. So hope you guys are enjoying your day. I'm enjoying this great sun. I'm finally getting out of Phoenix. So got all this sky behind me over here. There's a giant mountain. The more I post, the more you'll see. As long as I'm down here, I'll try to keep making as much as I can. A little bit of sprinkles as I'm doing this. So just taking in that fresh desert air. Enjoy it. Have a great day.